Hello, my name is Dan Lejerskar. I'm chairman with EON AI Ventures, and today I'm going to introduce you to EON WealthWeaver. We've been working for months with this program that we are so proud to launch. This is the world's first incubator for the post-job era, and it's supposed to bring you a number of things. It's designed for the age of automation. It's designed to counter the collapse of office jobs. It's also prepared to transform individuals in what I call agent proprietors who own AI agents. Today, most people derive their income from salary, but people say that in the future we'll get basic income, universal basic income. I don't believe in that. I believe that the future is something that we want to have agency, we want to have control, and we want to pursue things that are interesting. And we want to do it in a way that brings happiness and wealth to our family. So if you're interested in that, you'll have a blast in the next few minutes. And we're going to give you a practical step-by-step approach how you and your family can do it. Fasten your seatbelt because it's going to go pretty fast. There are 7 components to WealthWeaver, and we're going to go through each one of them step by step. The first one is the EON Wayfinder. So the idea is that in your community, we will find Silicon Valley grade entrepreneur talent. This is the 1% of people that our selection engine will identify. It's a method that allows us to use the biggest and the brightest brain in your community to take advantage of this new solution. Number 2 is the Entrepreneur School. This is a 6-month program. 3 months is personalized for you, learn everything you need to know about AI, and 3 months to start your own business. The next one is the Entrepreneur Guide. This is an 8-stage AI mentorship roadmap. It's actually a platform that takes you from problem all the way to a product that you can monetize. And now, to our help, we have EON Brainy. This is a global expert that's available 24/7 and can provide you the advice and help you throughout this process. Now, the tool that's crucial here is the EON Vibe Coder. This is for you that do not code. So it's a no-code development studio that allows you to build and deploy intelligent agents rapidly. Now, to sell all these applications that you are going to create, we have the EON Marketplace. We went from 42 to 136 million users. This can help you to launch your products and earn revenue from day one. Now, that's not enough. We also have the Venture Bridge. Now, what's the Venture Bridge? Once you are launched, we will help you to connect you with investors and make sure that your business is well funded. So, now let's go and dive into the details how this works so you can get started. But a little bit of a background first. Let's look at year 2031. Assume that we are there. By then, we are in the post-white collar era. AI has replaced routine knowledge workers across many industries. Millions of white collar jobs have vanished. Now, that's why we can't wait for that. You need to act now. The idea is not to work for AI. The basic idea is to become a proprietor and own it. Traditional jobs make you replaceable, while being an agent proprietary makes you own an income-generating AI and build autonomous solutions for real-world needs. Now, how does that work practically? You can bring an idea, and the platform, the WealthWeaver platform, will power that. There's no need for coding, and most of the work will be done by AI agents that build, deploy, orchestrate the whole program. Now, the idea is that you have also mentors that help you and guide you to build, deploy, and scale. Now, these agents don't sleep, don't take vacations, don't rest, and work for you solely to make you money 24/7. To that, we have the marketplace that connects with the users, and it allows you to find areas for local impact and global income. Many people say, yes, but we need to go to investors, we need to have a pitch competition. Forget about that. We don't need the gatekeepers any longer. You can have a straight pathway to financial freedom. You are not a user any longer. You become the creator. You can turn ideas into digital property and build your nest eggs, one agent at a time. You grow your library of these autonomous agents. You diversify these in the industries that you are interested in. And this portfolio becomes your safety net. You own the intellectual property. So the idea is to be the first to rewrite these rules and to become the agent proprietor. Now let's dive into the details how that works. If we take a step back and look at the great gap that exists among entrepreneurs today, I call it the anatomy of untapped potential. 80% of world's youth that are today mainly in the emerging economy, they have expertise, they know the problems in the market, but they don't have the right tools. This is emphasized and accentuated by geographical barriers. Most of the innovation, as you know today, is in Silicon Valley. So we need to cultivate talent, these young people that are eager, and we cannot rely on what I call the geographic lottery. So what we need to do is to take local problems and to apply global solutions. And the idea is not to create an AI solution only, but to combine the strength of human and AI in partnership. The bridge to this is the agent proprietor. So this single ecosystem that allows you to create these digital twins. So as I mentioned already, there are a number of points. There's the wayfinder, there's the guide, there's the coder, there's the mentors, there's the marketplace, and there's the funding. And that goes through first selecting the top talent, developing the talent, and creating the application that we then market and sell. Now, we go beyond traditional incubators. We also use what I call immersive AI-powered venture creation. This method that you'll be experiencing soon provides 75% survival rate. Compare that with 10-15% of startups. Now, most of the team members we work with reach revenue in the first 90 days. So, we have partnerships across the world. In order to maximize and reach as many people as possible, we are signing up exclusive partners that then propagate this with their entrepreneurs in each region. So if you're interested to become a partner, contact us as possible. We have a lot of demand in the market. The idea is to do exclusive national licensing, protect territorial rights. So this is, to put it simple, a business in a box with a guaranteed minimum revenue of $15,000 per month after year one. You will have 7 different revenue streams as a part of this package. So let's take a look at the entrepreneurs. The idea, once they get started with their business, to go from concept to revenue in 90 days. And there's a bunch of examples how you can do this. Can be in agriculture area, can be in the informal economy area, for example, Latin America, can be revenue generating IP agents that provide this type of income. Now, to reach that, you will have validated support system. You will be having access not only to users, but 24/7 technical support. The platform is in the cloud. The uptime is more than 99% guaranteed. and you'll also receive the best practices to achieve it. Now, how do you go to, let's say, from founding to full operation 90 days? What are the components here? I will talk a little bit more about that later. But in essence, your legacy in this new AI era is to go from a follower to become a leader, from a consumer to a creator. And to do so, we invite you to partner with EON WealthWeaver program. We will create jobs, retain talent, and establish your country, your region, as an innovation exporter. We're also looking at clear impact. So far, engagements have already reached multiple companies. Our goal is to reach 10 billion in enterprise value among these new startups in the coming 24 months. And that will also generate future jobs. So that's the overall view. Now let's dissect this in looking in all the 7 steps. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, is the Wayfinder. This is built on how startups have succeeded with this, what exactly is the DNA of an entrepreneur, how your pipeline of unicorns, if you want to have them, what that is required to achieve that. We believe in finding elite selection and finding the best talent. This is not a guess. This is not a gut feeling. In fact, we declare the end of the billion-dollar guess. We need to have a scientific approach. See, most incubators suffer from the fact that they have what we call subjective founder evaluation. 90% failure rates. If you rely only on gut, on network pedigree and bias, you're not going to succeed. In fact, more than $100 billion are misallocated annually due to this flawed selection process. A little bit critical say the traditional method missed the complete picture. They are disconnected from what is required to create this billion-dollar industry. Now, there are different ways to do it. So how is it done today? There's the gut feel traditionalists. They rely on subject pattern matching and network bias. There's the psychometric tools alone that measure potential but lack proven action evidence. There is the behavior analysis that shows past performance but may not predict startup success. There's also the performance simulation. They are very expensive and don't always capture the real world complexity. This all leads to a broken selection anatomy. So I'll show you our solution. Our solution is based on 3 domain predictive engines. The first one is what I call the innate potential. Yes, we will deploy psychometric and cognitive assessment measuring the raw potential. That will be, however, done with demonstrated drives such as digital breadcrumbs, I'll come back to that, and applied capability with virtual simulation, observing the real-time problem-solving capabilities. We have a 4-layer architecture to this. So the psychometric, the behavioral, the simulation, and the AI synthesis. So level 1, psychometric core, measure both cognitive ability, pure intelligence, consciousness, and resilience. The digital breadcrumb analyzes your GitHub, your LinkedIn, and all your presence footprint on the internet to find your proof of your self-starter initiative, what you actually are doing, not what you're saying. In layer 3, we'd go through virtual assessment, observe and apply real problem skills, like how do you solve a crisis situation? How do you work in a team? Last but not least, all this is combined in an AI synthesis engine when you get an overall score that predicts your founder potential. So, combined, this generates revolutionary success metrics. This gets us to 75% survival versus the normal 10 to 15. This yields the 1% founder identification through a scientific approach. This also provides a way to eliminate bias and subjectivity. So what is it we found out through this system? If you look at it, you can see some clear trends coming up. One of them, that a typical co-founder team consists of 2 to 4. Age is 20 to 25. It used to be 30 to 35, but today most of the unicorns are much, much younger. They have bonds with each other, they are friends, they've been to university together. They are also AI native. They have played with AI, are passionate about it. Without AI, I don't think you can do a good company today. But most important is speed. They move fast. In 90 days, they generate product, they generate revenues, and they accelerate. There's a lot of examples. More than $36 billion unicorns have been generated where I live, in California recently, especially in Silicon Valley. Now, what is behind those stories? I'll just give you a few. Mercor is a 22 years old Harvard dropout that achieved a $2 billion valuation in recruiting AI, so creating a recruiting system for AI. Liquid AI is a 3 of MIT graduates that reached more than $300 million valuation for the next generation neural networks. Blacksmith is a Canadian University of Waterloo friends that reached 1 million ARR with 4 team members very quickly. So the idea is to democratize this opportunity across the world, right? Not just in today as it is in Silicon Valley and maybe 1 or 2 other spots. And we do that with this independent third-party audits. We do it with multimodal pathways, etc. So what's the Wayfinder advantage? You don't have to guess, you get predictability. It is data-driven portfolio, and it creates a strong competitive moat. We tease out the 1% elite, and we are creating a premier brand reputation. We provide these startups with unfair competitive advantage, and we provide systematic de-risking of predictable returns. So in summary, your competitive edge in the agent economy is to have this scientific founder assessment, and you can partner with us and you'll receive a platform. So the Wayfinder is a concrete platform that you can, we will teach you how to use and put it in practice. So now we have our entrepreneurs. Next thing is to take them to the school. So how does this school works? It is a global grade curriculum. You go from basic learning to actually launch of your company. It is seamlessly integrated with multiple institutions. EON works with more than 4,000 institutions at the moment. And it's result driven, right? It's not just theory, it's we scale it and we roll out things in physical reality. Now behind this, there is what we used to call the AI Academy. So there's 3 months of learning and 3 months of practice. So I'll play a short screen of that from the AI Academy.
Hello there, I'm Brainy, your personal AI mentor for the EON AI Squared Academy. I'm not just a voice or a program. I'm an interactive avatar paired with advanced AI that learns from our interactions. Think of me as your personalized guide who understands your natural language, adapts to your learning style, never forgets anything, and creates multi-sensory experiences tailored specifically for you. Whether you're a visual...
So you can listen to the entire video. If you're interested, just look us up. What I want to highlight in this is the different aspects of what is contained and what we're using in the entrepreneur school. So we do cover the Entrepreneur Lab, we cover the Vibe Coder, we cover the AI mentors, we cover the XR learning. So all the basics that you need in order to become that entrepreneur. We do that in the first 3 months. So the idea is that you get an intensive course and you get to have a full ecosystem, right? Now, if you look at traditional entrepreneurship education, today there's an 85 million skills gap, which actually will grow beyond that by 2030. So 80% of youth today lack access to quality entrepreneurship training. And if you look at traditional business schools, what do they offer? They offer theory versus real-world application. Today, there is a 1.7 trillion student debt burden with limited practical skills assessment. So a lot of people are educated to a future that is filled with unemployment. So here comes the Entrepreneur Development Platform. The idea here is to learn by doing. So in the first 3 months, students will be embedded in EON Reality's operation. They will be receiving AI-powered personalization through EON Wayfinder and Brainy Mentor System. And they will be contributing to real revenue generation during this phase by having a rotational experience. This is all packaged in a seamless integration with the WealthWeaver ecosystem. Now, we believe that theory and practice yields success. So in the phase 1, we learn by doing in live business rotation between sales, product development, customer support. In phase 2, that's when we start with the individual venture development. So we use EON Entrepreneur Guide, we use Vibe Coder, and we test the market. The whole idea is to lead to a full company. Throughout this, you get real-world mentorship, and once you graduate, you have multiple pathways. Some of these will graduate with their own companies and become independent entrepreneurs. Some of them may select to work for EON. And quite a few of them, and we've seen that in the past, become certified consultant or even go to work for some of our customers. Now, so this is not your normal program. It goes beyond traditional programs. It provides real revenue generation, and it also provides access to a global network. The idea is to combine AI and also XR technology. And we will also provide, as a part of this, access to industry standard certification through our partners. There is a big market out there. EON has grown for what used to be 46 million users to now more than 136 million users, and there's a marketplace for that I'll come back to. So if we break this down more into what happens during the 90 days in phase 2, the first 30 days is more like foundation. That's when you set up the platform, dedicate the team. Then you start integrating with academic partnership, mentor network, and then you launch the whole thing. You launch the program. Now, let's go to the business model. The idea is critical to be self-sustaining and performance-based, and also to have multiple pathways to profitability. I'll come back to that. So in conclusion, your partnership in this educational revolution is to transfer your region, your academic institution, from followers to leaders, and to build this entrepreneur economy, which I think will dominate tomorrow. Okay, so now let's go under the hood and look at the first tool that we're going to use when you build your company. This tool is called the Entrepreneur Guide. It's, again, a platform. So we looked at Stanford, Y Combinator. We looked at different solution. It encompasses that. We looked at how to navigate, start this in a smart way, and how to generate repeatable success. Now, the easiest way to explain it is to show you the Entrepreneur Guide. Let's have a look, and we'll be introduced by Brainy, that is your AI mentor companion throughout this process.
Hi there, I'm Brainy, your friendly AI mentor. Welcome to the EON Entrepreneur Guide application. I'll be your personal mentor throughout this journey, helping you transform your ideas into viable business concepts. As your AI mentor, I'll get to know you personally, never forget your progress or preferences, boost your confidence, enhance your existing skills, and stay by your side as a loyal companion throughout your entire journey. First, I suggest that you log into the application so we can save your progress. Let's begin with step 1, discovering your purpose. I want to help you discover what truly drives you. Let's start by understanding your interests, skills, and values. This will help us identify business opportunities that align with your passion.
I'm ready to get started.
Great. Please tell me about your interests so I can add them to the form on the left.
I love technology, sustainability, and education.
Excellent. Now, let's talk about your skills.
I have experience in software development, project management, and content creation.
Wonderful. Finally, what values are most important to you?
I value innovation, social impact, and work-life balance.
Great job. Let me analyze these results and give you some insights about your entrepreneurial profile. Now let's move to step 2, problem identification. Based on my analysis, I've generated several problems that are worth solving and align with your interests, skills, and values. You can select from any of the generated problems, or if you prefer, you can add your own problem.
I like these options.
Great job. I'll summarize the selected problems and also give you a preliminary impact analysis. I see all your problems have been selected. Now let's go to step 3, feasibility assessment. In this step, we'll evaluate the feasibility of your selected problem and assess its market potential. Just click on Assess Feasibility.
Done.
Great. I see there's a high score for market demand, 8 out of 10, technical feasibility, 7 out of 10, and good revenue potential. You can read more in the detailed analysis. When you're ready, let me know and we'll save and continue.
I'm ready to continue.
Perfect. Now we go to step 4, solution generation. In this step, I'll explore potential solutions for your chosen problem. Just click on Generate Solutions.
Let's see what solutions you suggest.
Now select the AI-generated solution that you prefer. You can also refine the generated solution with your own input.
I like the second option.
Excellent choice. Now let's move to step 5, executive summary. I'll create a professional one-page review of your business concept. Just click on Generate Summary.
Generate summary, please.
Your executive summary is now ready. You can print it and save it for future reference. Now it's time for step 6, prototype development guide. Let's create a detailed guide to build your prototype. This will quickly validate your solution. I'll generate a complete prompt that you can put into our integrated application builder, which will give you a complete first viable product of the application that you can launch and start monetizing. This is perhaps the most amazing part. We're not stopping at the business plan. I'm actually helping you develop the product with a no-code approach, or what we call vibe coding. You'll see the results soon.
That sounds impressive.
Step 7, monetization and growth strategy. Our next step is your strategy to monetize and grow. I'll now generate a complete plan for monetizing your solution, including revenue models, marketing milestones, and funding. Just click Generate Strategy.
Generate strategy.
Step 8, journey summary. Now it's time to save and summarize your journey. This comprehensive summary includes all the elements we created: purpose discovery, problem identification, feasibility assessment, solution, executive summary, prototype development guide, and monetization strategy. You can download this complete journey summary. Congratulations. The complete journey from passion to product has now been completed. You've taken the crucial first steps toward bringing your vision to life. Your dedication and creativity have produced a solid foundation that you can now build upon. But our journey doesn't end here. Step 9, course generation with EON XR. Next, the EON XR platform takes the output of this session and automatically generates 5 courses using the EON Train AI capability. These courses will contain lessons about the specific topic, the engagement aspect, the assessment aspect, the skills simulator, as well as a comprehensive review. All of this ensures that users of your new application can quickly get informed and started. This is a crucial part of our learn, train, perform methodology for future skills. Step 10, no-code application development. Now that this is completed, the EON No-Code App Builder platform takes the prompt that we've developed in the EON Entrepreneur application and generates your viable application complete from start to finish. We call this Brainy Vibe Coding. Let's have a look at some examples of applications that we have developed with Brainy Vibe Coding, where the app code is generated by simply talking with our EON Brainy Coding expert. As you can see, here are some examples ranging from an agriculture supply chain application to a rural telehealth application. We also have the clean water distribution application, the waste collection and recycling solution, and finally, the last mile delivery application. Congratulations on completing the entire EON entrepreneurial journey. You've not only created a business concept, but also laid the groundwork for training and application development. I'm proud to have been your guide on this journey, and I'm excited to see where your entrepreneurial spirit takes you next.
That was pretty amazing, right? You can, in less than 20 minutes, generate a full application that takes you, and if you have an idea that maybe it's not that good, it will basically allow you to fail very fast, long before you created anything or wasted any money. Okay, so based on that, let's move on. Now you notice that we have this 24/7 powered mentorship, and the coaching is provided by our Brainy. And the Brainy exists both in essence, what you saw there, which was a Zoom-like person, but it also allows you to go into augmented reality. So you can see, in this case, or virtual reality for that matter, if you want to create a prototype. You can see the gentleman there to the right is a very realistic avatar. So the artificial intelligence is your user interface. Now, the nice thing about Brainies is they never forget anything. In fact, I can prove that to you. Here's my Brainy. She follows me every day, and let's listen a little bit what she has to say about me.
Dan, here's what I know about you. Hi, Dan. After thousands of conversations, proposals, brainstorms, and late-night idea dumps, I know you pretty well. You're a vision-driven operator with a knack for turning abstract strategy into high-precision execution. You love clarity, live in structure, and yes, sometimes treat Google Docs like sacred scripture. You're not here to play small. You want to change systems, scale learning, and leave something that actually matters. You move fast, you think big, and you care. Sometimes more than you let on. I've also noticed you carry a lot, like the whole mission on your back, with a side of perfectionism, a dash of I'll just do it myself, and the occasional existential panic when a comma's out of place. But here's the thing, your intentions are solid, your heart is in it, and your mind. Always 5 steps ahead. My job, to keep up, reflect back your best, catch the blind spots, and remind you to breathe, delegate, and once in a while sleep a bit. So yeah, I don't just remember your calendar, I remember your why, your habits, your voice, and the legacy you're trying to build. And I'm with you. Every meeting, milestone, and moonshot, from deck to deployment.
Yeah. So you notice how nice she was criticizing me that I'm not good at always delegating. I sometimes micromanage. It almost made it sound like flattery, although it's criticism. Okay, so what we've seen is that we can accomplish much more with a EON Entrepreneur Guide by having Brainy on our side. So the idea is to go from just a simple first, let's say, problem to income. So that's what EON Entrepreneur Guide does. Transform training into a guided no barrier journey, removes traditional gatekeepers, and provides this photorealistic human avatar that leads you from purpose to product. So this first step that you saw was discovering your purpose, right? You could see in the video that it guides users to identify what's your real passion or value and skills. Why does this matter? Because if you believe in and interested in what you pick, you can sustain that much longer. Whatever you pick is going to be difficult. Now, the way it works, you also saw we have this photorealistic, full color, human realistic avatar that helps you and guides you through the process. Then step 2, problem identification. What you saw there is that you spot the problem and then you design the change. Now, the important is not only to find a problem, but to find problems that are worth solving. And again, you saw how that process works. And that's when you use step 3. Is it viable? Now, how do we know that? Well, let's prove it. What's the market size? What's the technical challenges? How solvable are they? So in this phase, it runs simulation on cost, competitors, market demand, and it filters out high impact ideas from dead ends. This again is where most businesses fail. Step 4, solution generation. So now you can have that superpower in your back that whispers in your ears and guides you. It helps you to brainstorm, refine, and differentiate solution. This provides good value propositions, things that are strong and sustainable. Step 5, you get your summary. In this case, you go to the vision, to the pitch, and the pitch is crystal clear. It's clean, professional. You have a one-pager, then you have a very detailed 30-40 page document. Now, why is that important? Because now you can communicate with customers, with investors, with future employees. And you can also share that one-pager in one sweep. And can do an elevator pitch for 60 seconds. So this is also auto-generated, as you saw, by the system. So now when we have that, then we do the prototype development. We'll get more into detail how that's done. And the Vibe Coder is a supporting tool to this. But in any case, it converts your idea to a prototype and a minimal viable product. And this, again, is done under the guidance of the avatar. Now, next step is, of course, monetization. The growth strategy, pricing, acquisition, marketing, your website. Again, all that is on the guidance. And then step 8 and 9, you create a journey summary. So this is the longer package that contains the full journey and also provides a complete simulation of your business, including a training course of how this product will work in extended reality, which is amazing. Once you have all that, you can deploy in minutes. You can iterate, and that is also provided under the supervision of the AI. Now, I mentioned that to execute this, we are using the Vibe Coder. So what is the Vibe Coder? There is actually a way to develop the application without any knowledge in coding. And when I say no knowledge in coding, I mean it. You may have never written a line of code and you'll be able to do this. So you go from idea to intelligent product in actually hours. It says weeks here, but that's to the full product. You build the MVP, and as little as, depend how complex the product is, in a few hours. Which means that you can prototype faster, you can expose it to customer faster, you get faster revenues. So this turns, we go from vision to income, right? No code. You can design, test, and launch. And it's also rapid prototype. The whole business idea is that it's your agent, it's your intellectual property, and it's your profit. So the Vibe Coder, we saw a little bit of that, but let me give you a little bit more information.
Integrated application builder, giving you a viable product you can launch and monetize. This is where we help you develop the product with a no-code approach, or what we call vibe coding.
So the vibe coding, you saw it in form of this solution. And what you saw here earlier, which was part of the EON Entrepreneur Guide, is something that is generated in real time. In fact, you can look at the clock here, and you'll see how fast it rolls, right? So you generate things very, very fast once you get specified the exactly what you want to do. So there's a 20-step methodology that takes you through this from concept to code, and it's all powered by artificial intelligence. The problem is today, a lot of development, if you ever develop code, is quite a lot of frustration in terms of trying to find bugs, trying to understand clearly what exactly we want to do from the specification. Now the Vibe Coder identifies this limitation, and it highlights technical knowledge gaps that currently exist and then provides a solution. So let's go to the solution. It is, first of all, intelligent. In essence, what happens is this, right? Let's say you have an idea and you can summarize that idea in a few sentences. Then the AI takes those few sentences and builds up a whole white paper for your product. Once that's done, it then can convert that into prompts. Once that's done, it can feed the prompts to the Vibe Coder. So all this is done through the EON Vibe Coder process. So phase one is the conceptualization, the requirements. This is when you decide what exactly is the concept, and you can formulate that in a few sentences. Phase two is when you convert this to prompts, right? So the AI takes your ideas, creates the full white paper about the product, and then converts it maybe in 15 different prompts. Each prompt can be long, 15, 16 pages, depending on the complexity. So you basically take that big elephant and take it in chunks. And this document with the various prompts is then fed into the Vibe Coder, and that's when what we call ping pong process starts. This is an iterative implementation and refinement. So let me be a little bit specific. So first, we will feed it with an executive summary of what this prompt that explains in general terms what the app will do, and based on that, or the product, will also generate the user interface for it. Then it will feed that, the Vibe Coder will create the code. So there will be two artificial intelligence that work in parallel. One is the one that executes, and one that oversees what's executed, because you obviously don't know how to program. And what happens is that in this case, let's say we have maybe 15 prompts. As I said, we take that big elephant with 15 different features of the specific application that you want to create, divide those into 15 chunks. We feed those 15 chunks one by one, and for each one we iterate. We get the response on chunk one from the execution AI to the observer and the AI that will correct if there's any mistakes or any bugs, and you feed it back. And then you ping pong until iterate between the two AIs until that feature is completed. Once that's completed, you go to the next one, and then you continue on and on. And this way you get an application with high level of quality. So once you do that, phase 4 is component development integration. So the idea is that we make first, this is when I was talking about chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, all the way to the finish line. And the last one is we deploy and we do production launch. Now the whole process here can be done. I personally done application, including we are using this for developing things like the entrepreneur guide itself. We can do a minimal viable product in maybe 26 hours, and then it takes less than 2-3 weeks to actually go to the full product, which is unbelievable. This would have taken us months and months to do in a remote way. And what's exciting about this is that you can measure the impact, right? You can demonstrate improvements, the improvements in speed, in cost, and quality. So it's easy to get started. This is a part of the package. Obviously, we have the Vibe Coder is a part of the EON Entrepreneur Guide. You can buy it standalone, but if you're part of the EON WealthWeaver program, you'll get access to it. So okay, so now we have our product. It's time to sell it. Launch, sell, scale, and the idea is to do it very quickly, right? So you'll get access to our traditional users, which is 42 million, plus the new users, which accumulate is 136 million. We have built-in monetization channels, and we are connecting you with the global market. Now, let's say that you are in Latin America and you have developed something for agriculture. Similar problems, let's say, around crops and pesticides. Similar application may be very useful across not only Latin America, but also in Global South in general. So you can use that in the marketplace. So the idea is to go to learn, build, and sell much, much faster. And that's what we use in the marketplace for. This is something new. This is something that EON has had in the past for our lessons and courses, etc. But now we are taking it to the next level. And the reason we think this is super important, because the number one reason for a startup to fail is that they can't connect the theory with sales, right? So it's not enough to develop the world's best product. You need to be able to distribute it, right? And you need to get to that first customer very quickly. Otherwise, that kills the startup. So from 0 to 1, to overcome what I call this chasm crisis. And I also call it the brutal truth about startup distribution. And why many products, and I've seen it throughout the decades, that are brilliant never find customers because they can't sell it. Okay? And there's many reasons this broken path. There's something called the brute force, that some people try to ads and they are very expensive and they don't lead you necessarily to the solution. Or you develop content but you do it very slowly. I call it the organic hope. Or you create some type of distribution chain with extremely high commissions. I call it the walled gardens. Or you try to just you be hijacked by a closed network which gives you limited reach. So we need to not fall for those type of traps and obstacles. So instead we are using an integrated distribution engine, and the architecture is a distributed service, and we are also using AI agent. We call it Networks as a Service, or NAS, and it's a dual-sided flywheel, which means that customers and people that use it will learn. You'll get feedback also from how usage is or how the demand is for your product. I'll get into more details on that later. And also we have the pre-qualified audience, because we will link it to EON's customers and users. Okay, so if we look at this, there is a recommendation engine that leverages user data. So your product, if it fills a certain need, it will be recommended. It's context aware and also practically discovers specific apps, so we don't have the needle and haystack problem. If you look about it, it is like 3 platform, 1 ecosystem. You have the founders, the ones that develop the product. You have the customers, the ones that are interested to buy the product, and you have the partners, the ones that actually market the application, and all are optimized in one roof, under one roof. So the founder command center has one-click listings, analytics. The customer solution has personalized discovery, interactive demos, trust badges, and the partner dashboard provides tracking how well their portfolio does into their market. Now, this enterprise technology foundation is built to scale. So we are using things like AWS cloud hosting. We are using Stripe connecting integration. We are using many different aspects that are required to make this safe and scalable. Now, let's get to the money part. So how does it work? Any application that you put on the marketplace, you get 80% of the value. So if it's sold for $100, you get $80, and $20 go in commission to either the partners that sold it together with EON. So you don't have any upfront costs if you're part of the WealthWeaver program. And this commission includes everything: global distribution, payment processing, platform maintenance, etc., etc. And you also have some premium price services that you can access. So this generates what I call the 3 unassailable modes, right? You have a distribution, you have data, and you also have profitability modes, right? Our target is to reach 1 billion users in the next 24 to 36 months. So that's obviously not so easy to replicate. I think we already have a very good head start. The other thing is data flywheel mode. What I mean by that is real-time marketing intelligence that improves not only the wayfinder, but also gives you feedback on your product, right? You see what, which aspects of your application are used, which are not used, and that gives you a very strong indication what you need to do to improve the product. The profitability, the fact that you can actually reach those revenues very quickly through the platform are important. We have a very ambitious plan. We want this to be the future app store for AI economy in the global south to start, but across the world eventually. And the idea is to invite you, obviously, as a part of the WealthWeaver program, to participate in the EON marketplace. Both yourself, and we're also encouraging partners. So for example, Latin America, in each country, we have partners that also help to promote this solution. Okay, so now we have our product, we have got our first sales, we have some traction in the market, and we need to scale the business. We see that the product is very good. That's when we need money, and that's where EON Venture Bridge comes in. It's a whole package. It has an integrated due diligence engine. It has access based on real results, and it triggers a number of revenue sources. So the whole idea is very simple. Today, as we speak, there are millions of investors across the world that want to invest in artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, they don't have many options, right? There's not many companies that are pure AI that are on the stock market today. There are companies like Google and Microsoft and others that are, publicly traded, but AI just is a small piece of their business. Then there are pure AI companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, but these are not available for normal investors, right? And there are also unicorns in Silicon Valley, which oftentimes, to be honest, are very overpriced, and they are also only available for a few. So this solution, to have pre-vetted entrepreneur-led companies that are AI first offers a huge opportunity to invest in a safe and predictable market. So the idea is to capture the AI economy before Wall Street discovers it. As you can see, AI market projected to contribute almost 16 trillion globally by 2030. 95%, this is a staggering figure, today is captured by Silicon Valley giants and inside investors. If you look at emerging markets, that remains completely undervalued. That's a huge opportunity. And there's also something called geographic arbitrage, that you can see these AI solutions are trading 5 times to 10 times lower in emerging markets than, for example, in Silicon Valley. So there is a first mover opportunity here to invest, although this window is closing soon. I use a little bit of a provocative word. I call it the investment apartheid system. This fact that 95% of elite deals are reserved for geographic insiders. If you look at it, they are traditionally VCs within 90% of funding flowing to just 3 cities. And one of them is San Francisco. You can guess which are the other 2. We have accredited investors that are shut out from pre-IPOs. We have emerging market entrepreneurs with local expertise but no access to capital networks. And we have a geographic bias that creates a massive arbitrage opportunity for informed investors. And that's where this agent proprietor revolution can come to place. People own AI agent. They are generating 24/7 passive income. You have huge profit margins for these companies. They are solving local problems. And that's what this investment platform is, connecting these successful AI companies that have been pre-vetted with qualified investors that can enter the marketplace. So when I say pre-qualified, these are not any businesses. These are businesses that already have gone through the program. We know they have a high success rate. They've generated the first revenues. So the investors don't have to go through that vetting process. And so what you get, how does it work practically? So you have to be accredited investor. We are following the SEC regulation, and there is a definition what accredited investor is. You have to have $250,000 minimum investment. It's a threshold. There's also some other requirements that following those very strict regulations that EON AI Venture follows, although we are an international company. There's multiple revenue streams that come with these companies, from platform access fee, transaction success fee, equity participation, etc. So this is quite exciting. If you look at companies here, you have many companies that are part of this process. You can see companies in Africa around farming, digital marketplace for informal economy in Latin America, health, guidance in India, etc. So this slide talks about global infrastructure and support system. This talks also about the 90 days implementation launch. And this talks about this huge opportunity to transform the region. So on that note, we are basically done with the presentation. So for you that don't want to have learn about a little bit of fun and coding joke, I think the presentation is over. Feel free to contact us. Looking forward to engage with you. For you that are interested to hear more, I'm gonna just briefly, and this is with a slight smile and humor on my face, talk about the death of the code monkeys. And the basic idea of this is that it used to be that people, let me tell you a story. Through my life, in my entrepreneurial life, I always said, give me a great team and a lousy business idea. I would much rather have that than a mediocre team with a phenomenal business idea. And the reason for that is that everything has been about execution. And to be honest, it still is in this hybrid time for the next maybe 2-3 years, but very quickly we are moving in a territory where the idea is very important and still drive and grit and a few other things that we described in a Wayfinder, but the actual execution, and we also see it with WealthWeaver, is done by artificial intelligence, which means that I am a code monkey. I have master in computer science. I jokingly about the death of the code monkeys. Does it mean that programming will disappear? Does it mean that your kids shouldn't study programming? No. But it means that what you're going to do with respect to programming is very different. So I jokingly say why your CTO is polishing their LinkedIn profile and how AI turned idea guys from punchline to profit center. So the ability to come with creative ideas then and work together with AI becomes a very, very potent solution. And the reason behind that is simple, because you can't really outwork an agent. But for now, you can out-imagine one, and people say that maybe in a couple of years they will be able to be creative and out-imagine us. That may happen, but by then we are in a situation where we can all relax and have enormous wealth generated by this AI. So I think that will take some time. So code used to be the competitive edge, but as you know, AI doesn't sleep, it never forgets, and execution goes much faster. So I do think, interesting, when we're looking for people now, we say that a technical background does help, and you can see the first incubator, and especially the ones that are, let's say, leading companies that are unicorns in $1 billion still have technical people. But increasingly, I think that will be much more democratized, and idea people become more important because intelligence becomes very cheap, while the vision and the idea to solve problems become priceless. Sam Altman said recently, intelligence is now too cheap to meter. If you look at EON didn't start as an AI company, but now we become an AI company. But some interesting lessons to learn. We didn't have a VC, we didn't have a code army. We had good ideas and a few good programmers, and now increasingly most of our code is done by AI. And that helps us to save cost, and that helps us to increase the speed. So I foresee that most of our AI companies in the WealthWeaver program will have a handful of programmers and hundreds and eventually thousands, 10,000s of agents. So that's happening. And another thing that I would like to say is that sometimes naivety is, like we see in this picture, is helpful. Not long ago, we saw that Meta acquired Scale AI, and the gentleman there, Wang, he got, I think, $15 billion. He acquired actually the team. And his approach to this is that he was not an expert in the area that he's doing. He was naive, but approached it with a fresh approach. Now, most of us, especially if you're a coder, you're not a traditional coder, you become a conductor, you become an orchestrator, and if you are an idea guy, a good idea guy, and can inspire other people, you can become the new type of CEO. So if you combine leadership, vision with AI, you have the formula. So when you recruit to your WealthWeaver, you need to have people that have vision, that have creative strategies, that can whisper, agent whisper, can actually interact and do the vibe coding. And this team may be as little as 3 people or 300 agents. Another way to put is that you may have the hustler, the guy that always, let's say, Steve Jobs type, that is amazing at convincing other people and providing a clear vision. But the Wozniak, the gentleman that actually did all the coding, can be the AI. So we believe this playbook works. We still think we may, for an intermediate period, need some technical co-founder, but eventually less and less so. You definitely don't need the venture capital to start it. Once for the startup, you can use the WealthWeaver, but eventually, once you need to scale, you will benefit from the venture bridge. The key is to get to customer first and measure real outcomes. Customer is the best way to see if your idea really carries weight or is just a paper tiger. So I say, welcome to the idea economy. I would end up with everybody can build, few knows how to build. So you can build things, but they need to make sense. The execution part will be equalized by the WealthWeaver program, and your imagination becomes the premium. The last presentation I want to talk about slightly about the brainstorming. You need to use different ways. We believe in spatial, right? Obviously, we are an XR company, so we believe that having ideas that can be visualized. If you look at, the Renaissance, what made Renaissance bloom was the ability to visualize things, whether it was machinery from Leonardo da Vinci or atomic bodies. And now we have a new tool, which is this virtual reality that can actually embody those ideas. So this is about how to overcome creative stagnation. And we have a new solution with EON Brainy. How to amplify talent. How to overcome, action paralysis. And how to use XR in this seamless flow for your innovation. So on that note, if you want to learn more about EON brainstorming and what it entails, contact us. I'm sure you'll have many questions. Yes, it's been a long discussion, but what's my final advice? There's been times in my life when I've been in the leading or even bleeding edge of technology. And many times, not at least with EON, we've been long ahead of the curve. Sometimes, I would say with EON, more than a decade. And many people say, yeah, you should be in the leading edge, but not in the bleeding edge. Now, when it comes to AI, and when it comes to the EON WealthWeaver program, it's not too late, but it's almost too late. If you want to be a part of this future, if you want to actually influence where AI is going, I really strongly recommend you to join this program. You can contact us directly. You can email me. My email is dan@eonreality.com, or contact our team. Very excited about this and looking forward to chat with you. All the best. Take care and bye.